Welcome to the Table Rush Talk Show. In this episode, I interview Rhino Julie. Rhino Julie is a gym owner and foodie, and Rhino Julie helps foodies fit into their jeans. We get into mindset, spirituality, and high vibrations. And I thought this was going to be about losing weight. Enjoy this episode with Rhino Julie. You will learn a lot. You will be inspired. And of course, as always, look, listen, like, subscribe, follow, comment. Enjoy this interview with Rhino Julie. You know when someone is selling from stage and at the end, the audience gets up and rushes to the back of the room to buy? That's a table rush. My name is Misha Z, and the Table Rush Talk Show is all about bringing you the tools, strategies, and tactics that you can use to grow your audience and inspire them to buy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Table Rush Talk Show, where we talk to real people building real businesses to make real money and to serve their customers at the highest level possible. Yes, and I would like to welcome Rhino Julie, and we've got so much to cover. Julie, or do you prefer Rhino Julie, or what am I calling you today?
I like both. I like Rhino Julie. It gets me excited. Or just
fantastic. Rhino. I know there's a backstory there that is either going to be super fun or wah wah wah, but we'll get to that. So Rhino Julie, you help foodies fit into their jeans.
That's what I do.
That's what you do. Yes. You help foodies fit into their jeans.
And that's who I am. I'm a foodie who has not fit in her jeans for most of her life and now finally does. So
yay.
Yes.
So that's amazing. And a quick question. Do you have husband, kids?
I have 600 rhinos, but no kids. And I have a boyfriend who is a musician. And so he's like, we're two completely different animals, which is awesome. I love it.
Okay. And I was just asking because I'm looking at your picture. Anybody listening or watching, go to 5day.org. That's the number 5day.org. And you can see a great picture of Julie fitting into her jeans. And I was asking, you're beautiful. You're obviously in good shape. Flex for us real quick. Let's see some.
Man.
Yes. But I was curious, was there like a kid phase in there where you had kids and sort of were like recovering I don't know if it's appropriate to say this, but reclaiming your body after kids or anything like that? Or no, it's just all you love food.
No. I mean, every rhino that I birthed, like, was really, really hard on me and definitely took its toll. I mean, that's a joke. So I call my members rhinos.
Oh, okay.
And so that's why I say I have 600 rhinos. But every time I expanded the gyms, I would end up being in my office instead of working out. And I didn't figure out the food situation because I've always just loved food. That I started my business. I quit my advertising business, started my business I have right now because I was 65 pounds overweight. And I was just struggling to lose it. And I didn't like gyms and I wasn't going to diet. So I figured it out through fitness. But then when you're running a business, you don't have time to work out for hours a day. And so I would gain weight every single time I had to spend more time on the business. And so now I finally figured it out, all of it. Like, I cannot work out and I'll still be fine. I can work out.
It's kind of the dream. It's kind of the dream.
Food. Yes, that is the dream.
Well, so too, and real quick, you have 3 gyms. So you've got 2 traditional gyms in the Las Vegas area, and then you've got the Ninja Warrior course, which is the Rhino Julie course. And then you've also got this challenge, which I'm looking at. Again, anybody can go check it out at 5day.org, the number 5day.org. And you show how foodies to fit in their in their jeans online.
Yes, it's my favorite thing right now because everybody who comes in, they all love food just like me. And so we can just all be ridiculous together and refuse to give up the good things in life. My mom expresses her love to me through food, and I'm not going to say no to that. I ate an entire apple pie over the holidays by myself from my mom.
What?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. That is amazing. Um, I I'm just thinking, lovely audience, imagine being able to eat what you want, that food that you love, and skip a day or two of the working out. How powerful is that? Can you imagine that? Yes. Go speak to that.
Oh man, it's a beautiful life. No, I was always trying to do it through just fitness first. And then of course we can't do that. And then as we age, we have to dial in the nutrition, right? So then I went way too far into the nutrition side and I tried all kinds of different diets that I kept doing for a little while. I used to joke that the longest I'd ever been on a diet was 4 hours and then I fell off of it. Like that was me. But then I would do these diets and I would stay off of them. The longest I ever stayed on one was like 3 years. And I had one treat a week. And it was like no way to live. And I was
Yeah.
like, there's just got to be a better way. And so
Yeah.
in the 5 day challenge, I teach everyone how to shift their mindset. And this tiny little thing that I teach them to do that made all the difference. And it's made all the difference for all of my clients. And it was the one like correlation between the people who kept the weight off, but we'd still see them go to like wine country and have wine and chocolate and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I teach that during my 5 day challenge. And it's so exciting.
Yeah. Well, what can you tell me about that? Go. I don't want to stop you. Like what are you allowed to tell me now to get the
Ooh.
audience excited about this secret? Like tell me more.
Oh man. Okay. So it's one thing. It's three
Okay.
minutes a day that we all do. And I'm not gonna tell you here because there's a lot of mindset set up. For those of you guys who listen to the show, you guys know about our internal and external beliefs. You guys know about all like the setup to figuring out how to shift our mindset around this one thing. So you got to join my challenge to really get the full brunt of that. But I will give you
Okay.
one little really boring secret. I don't think it's boring, but you might think it's boring. And it really does come down to awareness. That's what it comes down
Mm.
to. I'm not saying restriction. I'm not saying beating ourselves up. I'm saying awareness. So,
Mm.
but I make it fun. Don't worry.
Sounds like it's easy too. Sort of once you dial this in, it's super easy.
It's easy from day one. Yep. And on the 5 day challenge, I have a girl, she sent me a long email. She said, I have Hashimoto's. I have all of these issues. I can't walk very long because I have neuropathy in my feet and my hands.
Mm.
And she lost 4.6 pounds in 5 days, which is way more like we like to keep it healthy. We like to see how little weight we can lose, like, and really maintain it. Right. But she lost all that. And she said, doctors told me I wouldn't be able to lose weight. And it all comes down to just this little 3 minutes a day. And it was easy. She's like, it was so easy. And I'm like, yes, it is easy. But I think part of it has to do with our beliefs and just seeing
Mm.
other people doing what we're trying to do in a way that looks fun for us. And when I
Yeah.
was trying to lose weight before, I had never seen anyone that I wanted to be like who had lost weight. To me, people who had lost weight or people who taught weight loss, their lives just looked so sad. Like I just like their chicken broccoli and sadness. Like I would rather be overweight and enjoy food than be like you guys. Like that's how I felt. So when you're in
Get
this
it?
group of people and you're seeing past challengers come in and say, yeah, I did it. I made it happen. And I had the Thanksgiving. I had the Christmas. I went out to eat 3 times last week and enjoyed myself. And I'm still losing or I'm still maintaining. You're like, oh, it's possible. It's not all or nothing. Oh, so
That's
exciting.
amazing. And I'll tell you what I love about that. In my 20s, right, was sort of my I'm still physically fit and healthy and all this stuff, but in my 20s I was more bent on like counting the exact calories and the chicken and the rice and eat 6 times a day. That was, I hate that I'll date myself, but that was a big thing. Eat 6 times a day, right? And six small meals a day. And I would people would ask me to go do things and I would go, well, gosh, that's going to affect with my 2 o'clock meal. I can't go. Right.
Yes.
And it was no way to live. Right.
So
Like,
sad.
yeah,
Yes. Yes. And
yes.
then did you feel when you were like that, did you feel like that was the only way to have what you wanted?
That's a great question. I kind of I it was what I was in, and it was the information that I was being fed, and I suppose also taking in. And it's kind of like intuitively, I knew I was like, wait a minute, this is just feeding more of an obsession than like a than a healthier way to go about this, right? I
Yes.
think physically I might have looked the part, but emotionally, mentally, like again, my relationships were being affected because of my eating, right? Like
Yes.
ridiculous. Oh, yeah. And I also remember distinctly, it's easier these days, I believe, but back in the 90s and the 2000s and things like the restaurants, the options weren't the same, right?
Yeah, and you have the calories and the breakdown, like at Yard House. That's like a popular one that's all over. You
Yes.
have all like the whole breakdown, and it's so cool now at the restaurants. But that's
Yeah.
something cool that you touched on that just it got to be an obsession.
Yeah.
And a lot of us, I think a lot of us in the world that we're in, we get obsessive. We get excited about things and we go
Yes.
the distance with things. And I'm like that. Like I just go. So I decided I was going to go to the CrossFit Games, right? Well, I
Yeah.
started because I saw American Ninja Warrior in Japan 17 years ago. It wasn't in the United States yet. And that's why
Yeah.
I had my first obstacle course. Like
Okay.
speaking of getting obsessed and having to go do things, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't make it to the CrossFit Games. I gave up that obsession because it became unhealthy for me. I was not going on trips because if I went
Yes.
on vacation, I'd have to find a gym that I could do my 4 hours of programming at. When I was in my gym, I would make a little set of cones around myself. And I wanted a headband that said like caution, like if I was training, so no one would take it around. Terrible. Right. And I wasn't happy. And
No.
so now I've decided to become obsessed more with overall business improvement and overall self improvement. And just I've become obsessed with learning and
Yeah.
improvement. And then that can be a variety of things. And it's not so single focused and silly. And I'm not giving up anything,
Yeah.
like you said, the time with your friends, saying no to social situations. And
Yeah.
no, that's
No.
terrible.
It's terrible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think intuitively know there's a better way. And to answer your question, you asked me, did I think there was a better way? Or I don't know if I answered that question for you, but at the time it seemed like that was my only option. But you're like, there's got to be something else. I grew up with Rocky. You remember Rocky, Sylvester
Oh,
Stallone? And there's that
yes.
scene where he drinks the eggs. Like I was drinking raw eggs and crap like that. I mean, I look back on those times fondly, but what I was doing to fit in my jeans, I'm looking over here. It was just, to have the take your shirt off and people are like, oh my God, your body's amazing moment, right?
Yes. Yeah, my body's amazing, but you should see inside my brain. It's amazing.
Right. It's just, yes, exactly. It's, yeah.
That
Yeah.
is that picture you just painted right now is so cool. And I've always said that I built my gyms asking, would Rocky Balboa want to train here?
Yeah.
We back now we're actually our gym is really clean and all that. But back in
Yeah.
the day, like whenever someone would say something about it, I'd be like, well, this is where Rocky would train, like I'm surprised there's not blood on the walls. And now we're all like clean and immaculate and all that. But I've grown up, okay?
Right. It
But
happens.
it happens. We
Yeah.
mature. But something cool that you said was you didn't realize that there was another way. And I think that's what clicked in my head is there's a million ways, millions
Yeah.
of ways, millions of combinations to lose weight. And so there's a way to do it where you enjoy it. And this ties into business too. I realized recently that in our business, if we focus on the things that we enjoy that move the needle, we get so much better results. And there
Yeah.
are so many things that move the needle that we enjoy in our business. And there are so many things that move, like we enjoy that move the needle in our health and fitness. No
Yeah.
need to torture ourselves in either lane.
Yeah. I love that. It's so good. We can get stuck in sort of a rut, right?
Yeah.
If I'm hearing you to a certain extent, it's
Yes.
like, hey, we don't need to be in that rut. There are so many awareness, like open your like tap into that awareness. So take me back to the to this aha moment, right? So this like, wait a minute, I've actually cracked the code. I've got a 3-minute secret for you. And so when you started initially, you're like, hey, I was working corporate and kind of marketing and not physically where you wanted to be. So tell me.
Yeah. So 17 years ago, my business was spreading as fast as my rear end was. And I remember being in this meeting with this super intimidating guy. His name was Rusy Bostangiev. And I was sweating because I had a jacket on in the summer in Las Vegas because I couldn't button the top of my skirt. And I had one of those ponytail holders through the button. That's what we do when we can't button our skirt. And I was like, I can't live like this. And I was like, well, I'm not self-disciplined. I hate exercise and I love food. So obviously I need to go join the military to have a drill instructor tell me what to do. Cause all my friends who went and joined the military came back then, which is a terrible reason to join the military. Thank you everyone for their service out there. I did not join the military. I hired the 2 people I knew who were in the military and said, will you please come to the park and torture me for about 2 hours a day? Because I love eating and I feel like this is the only way, and like yell at me if I won't do it. Right. And so after the first night, I was like, I want to teach this. So the next night, like I put out flyers and I had a whistle and I got a camo hat and I was like overweight and I was having them crawl across the park and doing all the things that I imagined that people did in boot camp. And the rest is kind of history. That program became really, really successful. We literally got paid to torture people. We had logs and tires and obstacle courses and people loved it. And I loved it. We ate it up. But then there came a time where I started to age and I was like, and I started my physical locations and I was like, it's time for me to take care of myself instead of torture myself. And that was when I was like, well, actually, I'll tell you the real story. The real story is I was sitting at my dining room table and my business had done really, really well. And then we kept having major disasters. I mean, we've survived 2 recessions and then we've survived some recessions I brought on myself by making, like, I put up 100 obstacle course in the middle of the desert that I got really excited about building it and didn't advertise it properly and lost tons of money. And it was too hard. It was crazy. It was really intimidating. So anyways, I'm sitting at my dining room table and I had $20,000 to make in payroll that I hadn't written the checks for. And for the checks for like rent and stuff like that, if all of them cash, I would be negative 13,000. And I still had 20 and I didn't have any, I'd blown all my savings on all my business ideas. Like I had nothing. And I was like, well, what is the one thing I haven't done? And the one thing I hadn't done was nutrition. My clients had asked me for nutrition help throughout the years. And I would always say, you know what? I'm not your girl. I like eating lots of food and working out hard. That's it. Like I'm not. And so finally I'm like, well, I'm going to hire the best I can find. And I hired the head of the local hospital's nutrition department because I'm like, I want to do this right. I don't want anything that's a fad. I had her like teach me a program that I could teach to our people. I sent out an email, sold out the program. And then for 4 cycles of doing that program, I still wouldn't do it myself. And I had about 20 pounds to lose. And I would stand up there and I would say, I know I need to lose 20 pounds. And I know I'm telling y'all what to do. This is where I learned it from, but I'm still not willing to do it myself. And then finally I was like, oh, I can't have something in my gym that I'm not willing to do myself. So I did it just to lose the 20 pounds. I didn't care about feeling better. I didn't care about living longer. I just wanted to look like a gym owner so I could go to an expo and talk to people about my gym instead of having them say, oh, are you looking to go to that gym too? So anyways.
You were trying to play the part.
Yes. And then
it's amazing.
When I ate healthy for the first time in my life, a fog lifted in my brain and that I didn't even know was there. And all of a sudden I wanted to wake up early. I wanted to work. I've always been driven, but there's a difference between being driven and wanting to create and wanting to work. And all of a sudden I had energy all day. I was a machine in like a different way. And then this other thing happened where all of a sudden, like I've always been a very nice person to everybody. It's one of my rules, right? Like I hate bullies, but all of a sudden I loved everybody. Like I would love random people in the grocery store. I'd be in line and I'd just see someone in front of me and I'm like, oh man, that guy, look at him in his suspenders. He's so adorable. I hope he's having a great day. Like I just loved people.
My gosh.
And I was like, what happened? And what had happened was I finally loved myself. So instead of just like torturing myself into skinny submission, I was nourishing myself. And it's like, it's the insides out type of thing, you know?
It's beautiful. Thank you for that. Oh my gosh. I was not expecting you to say that at the end about that, that finding that self-love and you were, the way you were like, oh my gosh, I love myself. If I heard you say this right, was like, you're looking at people at the grocery stores that perhaps you might have usually judged. And we're like, oh, what a sweet guy with his overalls and his whatever. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, I see myself differently.
In traffic, like the road rage, there's like, there's just love and just love for humanity.
Oh my God.
I don't think, I mean, for me, like I used to get judged a lot. Like I got divorced and stuff like that. And when it really wasn't cool in the community I was in. And so I'd had a lot of, so I don't think I've ever been a judger of other people, but I was highly annoyed on the inside with a lot of situations. So it wouldn't be a judgment, but there'd be a very high annoyance. And that was just, if you get what I'm saying.
I get it. Well, I had the same turning point. And over the last, excuse me, I'd say 3-4 years, that we're very much the same. Like I was, generally speaking, glass half full kind of a guy, positive, looked at people positively, but that little bit of judgment, I was like, that ignorance is bliss. For a while, it was like a superpower. Oh, I'm good at judging situations. I'm good at judging somebody to know whether I should interact with them or not, or however I would justify it. And then I was like, yeah, I'm tired of these little judgments. I'm tired of it. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't have the energy for it. And I'm, excuse my language, turns out full of shit most of the time anyway. So let's be real, right?
We're all making it up as we go along. None of us have any idea what's happening. We're just going along, doing the best we can.
Yeah, I truly believe it, right? And the self-love thing for me absolutely resonates. It's been like I said, the last 3 to 5 years have really been about, all right, and this self-love, like new levels of that, right? Stripping away new levels of judgment, stripping away just a lot of bringing up that awareness, dialing up that awareness. And what was I going to say here? I had this point I wanted to say, but it escaped me.
But maybe letting go of the judgment of ourselves.
Yes.
Is maybe, yeah.
Yeah. And what I was going to say is sometimes I wonder if it's the chicken of the or the egg. It's like this chicken or the egg thing. Like if I stop judging other people, maybe I'll stop judging myself, or do I stop judging myself and then I'll stop judging others on any given day? Or if I love myself more, I'll love others more, or, yeah. Does it matter? Chicken or the egg? Start with us, start with others. Who cares? Right? Like just do it and find more love, I guess.
Well, and I've been practicing something late. Well, I've been practicing a lot of things lately. I've been working on creating my own reality and taking responsibility for all of the relationships in my life and taking responsibility for everything that's happened in my business, because we've had a lot of crazy, ridiculous things happen. But looking back, it's like, okay, those happened for me. What part did I play and what were my expectations? Like, did I always expect the next bad thing to happen? And then it kind of would. So now I've been practicing not having any expectations on people at all. Everything's a gift. If someone is nice to me, it's a beautiful gift. Someone's not nice to me, hopefully I forget it within like 0.5 seconds. And then like I'm thankful for the nice people.
Yeah.
Then I've been raising my own vibration and expecting wonderful things to happen in my business, wonderful things to happen in my personal life. And it has been.
Mm.
So whatever that means, it's been happening. Just sharing where I'm at right now.
That. I love that. I love that. I'm just gonna let's let that hang for a moment, hang and take that in. I mean, I love the vibration talk. I'll definitely go there. I'm not scared to talk about raising our vibrations. I had another question, but it escaped me. Oh, goals. So it's the new year, and I've been working hard. And this might sound counterintuitive, but I'm like, I am tired of having goals. I'm tired of having goals, and
Good.
I'm gonna what?
Good.
Right? Like, you got to have a goal to know where you're going. 10 million, 3 million, or whatever the insane dollar number is that I think is going to bring me happiness, or whatever it is. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to see if I can have what feels like a successful life to me, and how the universe wants me to have a successful life vibrationally, let's say, if we want, without setting goals, right? Like, more of the how you said it. I loved it. Say it again. How you're like, I want to be grateful for your interactions, or say it again, or reframe it, or go ahead.
I don't even know what I said, but I'll say something again.
Yeah.
Just where I'm at right now is I just want to be thankful for every, positive, amazing interaction I have. I want to forget all of the ones that maybe aren't so positive. And then I want to expect the absolute best. I'm expecting the best in my life and from my business, but I don't have any expectations on people, or I catch myself when I do. And I ask myself, why do I have that expectation on that person? They can do whatever they want. They can create their own reality. It can have me in it. It cannot have me in it. They can, like I've said for years, like my best friends and I have an understanding. We could go years without talking to each other and know that we still love each other just as much.
Yeah.
Like, and I love giving like that gift to people, just the no expectation part. But I love what you said about not having goals. Here's the thing.
Okay.
Whatever we want, like we all just want to be generally happy and feel at peace, right? That's what we want.
Yes.
And we can have it in millions of different ways. If we decide that the only way to get it is the hard way and by sacrificing, well, we can probably get it that way. Or if we decide the only way we can get it is if we have $10 million and then we've got to slave away and work really hard to get it. If we believe that, then we will probably end up, like it's whatever we believe is, and that's what we have. And as far as goals go, I think what happens is we make goals to satisfy other people, or we make goals because other people are making goals, or our goals fit in line with what other people's goals are.
Yeah.
And like you said, money is made up. Everything's made up. So why? You don't have to have the goal of money.
Right?
You can do whatever you want. Everybody can decide like to do it their own way. And it's just fine and beautiful.
Yeah. And I'm really in the space too now of loved what you said on expectations. Like, can I just let go of expectations? And expectations are a setup for resentment, right? Yes. Like if I start having expectations on you, inevitably you're going to miss the mark. You probably don't even know I have the expectations because I can't explain them to you properly. Or even expectations of what the world is going to do for me, right? I work hard to create this business, therefore X should happen, or I put this work into my new email campaign, therefore, right? And if I have expectations, then it's almost, if you'll indulge me, it's like it sets up resentment against God or the universe, or if you want to think of it that way. where am I going with this? This is super fun that we're having this
I
conversation, by the
love
way.
it.
Um, um, if I can let go of the sometimes I don't want to let go of the shiny object, right? So I'm like, well,
Yeah.
if I let go of the the $10 million mark or something, that means I won't get it. So I can't let it go. But if I can let it go, that doesn't mean I won't get it. It just means I won't care. And that's
Yes.
really right. That's where I want to be. I want to be like, I don't care. And if it comes and I'm meant to, and the universe is like, here
Yes.
you go. Like, great. Okay. Can I be of service with this? Can I, you know, help the world or whatever? I don't know. How do you,
And what you said, have you ever read Wallace Waddles' book?
I have not. It
You're going to
sounds
have
like I
to look
need
him
to.
up. He has a book. I forget the title, but you can message me when you find his books and I'll let you know if it's the right one. Dear old Wallace Waddles, first of all, I love saying his name.
Okay.
He talks about if we spend every morning imagining our life as how we want it to be and being in thankfulness as if we already have it. And so not necessarily the money, but what we want to do. Like maybe we want to go to Africa and like help build schools or something, right?
Yeah.
Like what do we want to be doing and what do we want surrounding us and who are the people we want surrounding us and imagining as if that's already our life. And then going into our workday, this is the difference. You probably heard what I just said before, but this is the difference. Going into your workday, keeping that feeling and saying, what's the inspired action? He calls it the efficient action that I am led to do as the result of starting my day feeling into that.
Yeah.
And I've been doing it, I don't know, 4 days and I'm already preaching on it here. But I tell you, it has changed everything. I have had one of the best work weeks of my life.
I love it.
And I am doing things like answering the phone at the gyms because I felt like I should. And I did it. And I've been having these amazing conversations and I haven't had to answer the phones unless someone was sick for, I don't know how many years, maybe 10, 12 years. Right. Yeah. And I'm enjoying these conversations. And then all of a sudden I'm inspired to write because of the conversations I'm having with these amazing people. And that was from Wallace Waddles and me doing my imagining, which had nothing to do with answering the phones. But that was like the inspired or efficient action. I don't know, something to it. I can't wait for you to read his book and everyone else out there. I forget all of you all are here with me and Misha. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Wait, oh, yeah. The cameras were on. What did I say? Am I going to embarrass my brothers again? I always embarrass them.
Right. They're like, what have you done now? I know. You know what? I did an episode back in the day and I speak to my brother a lot. I love my brother. He's a few years older than me and he's always supportive of my shenanigans. Like I inventorying those people in my life. Like who are the people that are supportive? Or there's got to be room for everybody, I suppose. But I was like, you know what? My brother, Nick is his name. Hey, Nick. He's definitely Nick. He's consistently like, what are you up to now? But supportive, like, yeah, you can do it. Go for it. And just loves me through it no matter what. And I just felt like saying that. So Nick, thank you. You reminded me of that when you were talking about your brother.
Thanks to my brothers too, because they love me unconditionally. They say I can't do it wrong.
Yeah, that's nice having that support, right? Hey, you had mentioned two things, and I think that are very interesting over and above what we just talked about, but to maybe get back more on the business track or what have you. You went out and interviewed doctors. This is when you created this nutritional course. You went out and interviewed doctors.
A registered dietitian who was the head of the local hospital.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And you said, hey, help me create something that I can offer up to people. And so not having done it yourself, you were able to take this lesson plan, let's call it, and offer it up as a solution and people took advantage. I think that is awesome.
Yeah, it was great. It was the right, like technically the right way to do things, in order to get the results.
Yeah.
But something that's missing from something that's the right way to do it is if nobody sticks to it, then it's not the right way to do it. The only program that works is the one that you stick to.
Yeah.
And so we had a lot of success. A lot of people were very empowered. A lot of people, their entire lives changed after that program, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
And once I got on it, I stayed on it for 3 years.
Yeah.
And I had my first 6-pack at 32. And I was like, what? Like, I never had one before. Like,
yeah.
It was great, right? The results. But then the pandemic came, and my gyms were closed, and I had this weird thing. Like, if my clients can't come to the gyms and my rhinos can't come, I'm not going. So I gained 20 pounds. I got bit by a dog, and I was out for 5 months. It was a giant dog bite.
Wow.
And, I gained 20 pounds, and I was like, I can't go back to that plan, because that plan has one treat per week. And while for 3 years, I was able to get rid of my cravings and do this plan, and it was a great plan, and I felt so good, I can't go back.
Yeah.
And so I talked to one of the nutritionists at our gym, and I said, I'm willing to do anything except restrict my food. And so I was working with her, and then just reading lots and lots of nutrition books, and realizing that there are so many different ways. And now in my program, I call them game pieces. So in the 5-day challenge, I teach you how to make it into a game. And we have all these game pieces we can play. And what are the game pieces that I'm willing to play? Because there's some that I'm not going to play, but what are the ones I'm willing to play? And just acting like it's a game, and playing and playing and playing. And it comes down to awareness, right? And then I was able to lose the weight, get back to where I was. And I've been having chocolate every day. When my mom sent the apple pie home with me, I had a quarter of the apple pie, not even a slice. I had a quarter slices each day. But I was aware, I was like, I knew what I was willing to do and what I wasn't willing to do. And there's a way to fit it in and make it happen. And so now the program is a culmination of all kinds of different programs.
Yeah.
There's lots.
Yeah. I think what's fascinating about I think it's cool that I have it in my head that I have to have done it to be able to offer it up to somebody as a service or a course or a product or what have you. And you basically said, well, I was, 60 pounds from where I wanted to be, but I still went and talked to a nutritionist or a dietitian or what have you, got this course plan, offered it up, and had success with it. And you hadn't internalized it yourself yet. That's I think pretty awesome. So anybody listening, that's an aha moment for me right now. I'm like, oh yeah, there's so many ways, as you've said multiple times on this interview right now, there's 1,000 ways. There's 1,000 ways to do something.
I wanted it though.
I
wanted it. And my plan was to do it with them.
Oh,
just to clarify. So the first time I ever lost weight, I had to lose 65 pounds, and I wanted to do it by getting my ass kicked out in the park. And then the next time it was about 20 pounds when I got the dietitian that I'd gained back. And I wanted to do it with them, but I wasn't willing to for the first 4 challenges. But you know what? Part of that though is just extreme integrity I would tell them every time, I am not willing for this, but you all got this.
Yeah.
And it's the right way. And you know what I did, Misha? And I still do it to this day. The way I would get them to complete it, because I started it when I was so broke. And I was like, what would make me do this? I'm like, well, if I had to give up money that I didn't have, and if I got it all back, if I completed it, then I would do it. And so that's how I still run my programs to this day. I still have a 6-week challenge that we offer every once in a while, where you get, half your money back or all your money back if you just do it. Yeah.
Wow. I love that. That's a nugget right there. That's a great one. You talked about the difference today, the difference between, or there was a point in there, A difference between wanting to work and wanting to create. Did I hear you say that right?
Yes.
Yeah. How?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me to speak to that again. I mean, you did, but I think that maybe
Yeah.
dive a little deeper on that. Yeah.
So I used to be driven. I would always get good grades in school. I didn't like school. I wouldn't show up to school because I was in college and I had two businesses and I was like, my accounting teacher didn't know what software I was supposed to use. Maybe you went to a good business school, but I did not. And so I would just have to get like 100% on the tests in order to pass. And so I would study and I would do that, like, but I wouldn't show up to class because I didn't. So, anyways, I've always been driven to, I guess, succeed. And
Okay.
so I would put in the work to succeed.
Mm.
But wanting to create is so much different. It doesn't have that frantic energy. It doesn't have the extreme highs and the extreme lows and the sense of failure or success.
Yeah.
Instead, the journey is beautiful because every day you're creating something that you want to create, like something that's fun. It's completely different.
Yeah.
And maybe goals and success, maybe that's what we allow other people to define for us or other people to put on us. And we're doing, or maybe it's us doing things for how we're seen by men or women or how the earth perceives us.
Yeah.
And us being in our flow and creating and getting success from what we've created because we wanted to. And we woke up with a clear head and an open heart and we were just ready.
Yeah.
The big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm excited right now.
Yeah. I love that. That's the space I am trying to play in right now.
Wallace Waddles, he'll get you there.
I love it. There's I'm gonna pull this thing out. Hold on one second. And it goes along with what you said. You got to text me or message me the Wallace Waddle book.
I will.
But here's what I've been doing daily. And I go through different times of like really focusing on this idea. But today I will make no decisions by myself, like trying to be free of the ego. Today, you're talking about creation. Like I want to co-create with the universe or God or your higher power or the capital S self or so many different ways to say it. Right. So I'm like, all right, like today I'll make no decisions by myself as a thought process. Right. When I wake up, let's meditate on this. So I want to co-create with the universe, like no egoic Misha thoughts, like joint. You get what I'm saying there, right?
Yeah. But are you too hard on yourself?
Why'd you have to ask me that?
because I heard you say no, and I heard the word ego or something, Misha thoughts. Who's to say those thoughts like don't have relevance and merit? And like, who's to say that they shouldn't be acknowledged? And, and you say thank you to Misha for every thought, whether it's a co-creation thought or a thought that just came from Misha. But really, I don't know. How can Misha do it wrong? I don't think Misha can do it wrong if Misha's just Misha.
I'm going to take it in. I'm going to take that. First off, I'm going to take that in. I'm just going to take that in.
Which is hard to do.
I know. But that strips away the illusion that there is just the Misha thoughts. It's like brings it more back into, so then I can be free of the judgment of my thoughts actually, right? Then it's wait, right? So it's like, hey, as I'm going, my thoughts, the illusion, it just, right? So it's more, it sets my mind frame, not from a hard on myself standpoint, but from more of like, it's not saying it's going to change my thoughts, but I'm like, these are the thoughts that are there. Right. Right. So, yeah. Okay, cool.
Yes. I love it. And I love what you said. No decisions by myself.
Yeah.
I've been, there are a lot of different things that feel good and then things that don't feel good when it comes to like asking for help.
Yeah.
From a higher power. And then I realized that I can't do it wrong.
Yeah. I love that.
Whatever, like, you made me, we're here together.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
one. And
Yeah.
so, but I do know when I start to feel anxious,
Yeah.
like I'm behind, or like I haven't done enough, or why haven't I figured this out, or am I on the right track?
Yeah.
None of those thoughts serve me, you know? So it's like
Yeah.
what thoughts get me excited?
Yeah.
And what gets me excited is starting with my vision.
Yeah.
And the vision can change every day, Misha. I think that's
Yeah.
where we get a little sideways is we think we
Yeah.
have to have this one vision and we always have to be going towards it. No, we can have a different vision every day. And I think we would still be creating beautifully.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I love that. So good. Yes. Here's the rest of my little today. I will make no decisions by myself, which aligns with the Wallace Waddle thing. So, uh, it's reflect or imagine and do this throughout the day as well. The tell myself the kind of day I want, the feelings I would have, the things I want to happen to me, the things I would experience, and say, if I make no decisions by myself, this is the day that will be given me. And so it gives me the freedom to be what I believe is like what you're talking about, to be like, all right, what are the interactions that I want to have that feel good to me, not you or you or you or you or right, but what's coming out of me. And then yeah, and then I'm aware when it's happening. Then I'm on the phone at the gym like you are, and you're like, oh my gosh, I wanted to have awesome conversations, and here I am having a freaking awesome conversation. It's perhaps not where I thought it was going to come from, but nonetheless, there it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I love that. And
yeah. Go,
yeah,
sorry.
and something along that same line is thinking of like as if our day had ended, looking back, what do we want? And it's the same thing. What do we want our interactions? What do we want? Yeah. And
Yeah,
this whole thing is all rooted in thankfulness.
yeah,
And I can't hear it enough. I can't be reminded enough about the thankfulness part.
yeah,
Can't be reminded enough because that's where we get more of whatever we're thankful for,
yeah. I like your thought too of be thankful for everything, because I've found it my the wisdom of my life right now is oftentimes the things that I was most upset about or I thought were the worst turns out were the best things that ever happened to me, inevitably, right? Or some of the most, cancer in my mother, it was transformational in a positive way for everybody involved. I'll tell you more. I don't know if it's necessary, but you know what I mean? It's like, well, wait a
Yeah.
minute. According to societal norms, that equals bad. When in reality, at that time, it everybody was able to let go of whatever baggage and trauma and just more love, and time is short and all those kinds of the richness. Or like I got to see my mother and Bob, my stepdad, like overnight, the things they used to argue about just were like, wait, that stuff's not important, and so new level, their relationship just like blossomed even more at the end. So like you know what I'm saying?
I do. My mom had cancer and she says it was the best thing that ever happened to her.
Yeah.
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 Exactly. No, exactly. Exactly. And that's finding, we have a choice to find the opportunity or the good side of things or focus
Yeah.
on the bad. And whatever we focus, we get more of. So
Yeah. Yeah. So good.
did
I
so
want to
you
go
interviewing
ahead.
a like a health and fitness person, is this where you thought the conversation was going to go?
I
Or did
had
you think we were going to talk about protein shakes and push-ups?
absolutely. I was expecting a lot more of that. I absolutely was. And even more, more traditional business talk, our avatars and this and that and da 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 da
I love
and
that stuff too, though.
strategy. Yeah, no, me too. I love that too. It's fun to go down this rabbit hole as well. So thank you. It's fun. In the back of my mind, I'm like, editing this is going to be interesting, or taking notes, right? Like
Yeah.
I think about that's the story in the back of my head. Oh, this is going to be interesting when I'm writing out the show notes, right?
I
We
was like, he
started
is
with
going to air
business and we
this.
ended up with what's that?
I was like, he is going to air this, right?
Oh yeah. It's I yeah, I am absolutely going to air it, of course.
Easy.
I I I I have, I've published 400 and some episodes and done, I don't know, 100 interviews or whatever. And there's probably one or two things that were so sideways. Like inevitably, I'm like, and I'll even say on a lot of episodes when I record it, I'm like, gosh, I don't know if this is going to make it to the airwaves. And they all do, except so anyhow, I'm like, just publish it. Who knows who needs to hear it, right? That's just
Yeah.
that's what goes through my head. I'm like, maybe somebody needs me to see me self-destruct if I feel like I've self-destructed, or just like let the universe decide. I don't need to be in control of that anymore. um
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I like
Yeah,
that. That was beautiful.
thank you. I want to know, one of the thoughts that came to me to ask you was, what's the funnest thing? Like, what's funnest for you right now in your business? What's funnest for you? What is just giving you the most like charge, that's just making you like light up?
Using my own product. So
Mm.
being at my gyms, working out in a class with all the people and having one of the coaches coach me. It really is. Like I just, it's been 17 years and I'm still excited about it to this day.
Really?
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And it's a big realization to me too, because I kind of got away from my gyms. I went and became a business mentor for a while. I was still
Mm.
working out in them, but then I had a head thing where I couldn't work out. And when you're not there, you're not there.
Yeah.
And you forget how special it is.
Mm.
You know, I built it the way I built it for a reason. It's a sanctuary. There's no bullying. Everyone's nice to each other. Like I love being there. And you can lose it, and getting
Yeah.
it back and being able to work out again. It's been so nice.
So good. um and then the Rhino, I'd be remiss if we didn't, is there a story, or you're bullheaded
Yeah.
or something, or what is
No.
it?
So I do love rhinos. There's one on my truck. My license plate says Rhino Julie. I go by Rhino. But the real story is back in the day, we were called Boot Camp Las Vegas. And I did that for the search engines, to be able to find us.
Yes.
And mostly people tried to sign up their bad kids because boot camp wasn't a thing for fitness back then. Like we were one of the first to do it. And then we started getting copycats calling themselves Las Vegas Boot Camp, Vegas Valley Boot Camp. Our own government started their own at the same times and locations as ours to compete against us. Interesting story. No big deal. It's just funny at this point. And so
Yeah.
I was like, well, I need to change the name. I need a mascot. And I need it to be something that no one has used in like a television show or a movie. It needs to not be a part of any like sports teams.
Mm.
And so when I Googled rhinos, there's just lonely little rhinos in the middle of the desert, just waiting
Oh,
for their mother of rhinos to
yeah.
save them. And that's me. So
Beautiful. Thank you for that. So strategic and inspired at the same time.
sure, yeah. And rhinos have thick skin and they like you do not stop a charging rhino, right?
Mm.
But they also like food and fun with their friends, but most people don't know that.
Um, so good. I want to, Vince, we both have a mentor in common, Vince, Vince Green.
Yes.
Yes, Vince Green. So the way this interview sort of manifested was, you and I and Vince and perhaps somebody else, we were on a classroom call, where, if you don't mind me saying this, but you and I are in Russell Brunson's high-end coaching group, that what's called the 2 Comma Club X, which is so powerful. I think the mentorship and everything that's available and these sorts of relationships, amazing. Isn't a pitch, but I just, it's super fun, right? So
Yes. Oh,
yes.
yes.
Oh yes. So Vince, so we're on this call with Vince, Zoom call or whatever, and he's gonna coach us up or something. And we had just gotten off the Zoom call with Russell, where Russell Brunson, if anybody listening and watching, you have to be at least a little familiar with Russell Brunson right now. And he just was giving us the gold. Was he not? How crazy.
It was
It
amazing.
was amazing. So you and I have access to that to an astounding degree, which is it's such a gift in my life. But anyhow, so we're talking about that, and we're like, yeah, let's get you on the podcast or the talk show. And Vince is like, yeah. And you had, when we were talking, you had this epiphany about your niche is you. You literally said, yeah, my niche is me. And it was like this aha boom moment. You were really developing this challenge that I'm staring at over here again at 5day.org. Everybody go check it out. Click on the link. It is in the show notes, and it's awesome. And by the way, the food that I'm looking at, oh my God, it looks so good. The pizza and that whatever that burger is, and I can eat that and fit in my jeans. Anyway, the niche is you, and Vince is like, yeah, you guys should do an episode on it. So Vince, this is for you. This is for you. I wanted to make sure to touch. That's what that whole rant was about. Vince, Julie and I are going to talk about the niche is you, and what a powerful epiphany that was for you, or new levels of that. So speak to that for a minute, if you would.
Yeah. So there are all kinds of business ideas and all kinds of books. And I can read one and I'm like, yes, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to narrow down my niche, and I'm supposed to just talk to women who are entrepreneurs and who are this. And I was doing it, and it just felt so weird, like to just, because I want to help anybody who wants to be helped by me, but they're like, oh no, you have to have a niche. And I'm like, okay, I want to listen to the people who, have done really well. Like, you want to do what they're doing. And then all of a sudden I was listening to somebody, and they were talking about how the niche is you. Mm. And it's me. It's like, I love business. I love food. I love, I don't love exercise, but I love the results of exercise. And all of those things make me. Yeah. And that's my niche. And when I'm posting online, I don't have to just always talk to one demographic. I can say this post is for everyone who loves food and wants to fit in their jeans. This post is for anyone struggling in business. This post is for anyone who doesn't feel like working out today. And the niche is me.
Love that. Thank you for that.
I like.
Thank you.
Yes. That's what you share, is what you like and what you don't like.
And I like how you pointed out right at the top where you said that, like, hey, this is who this is for. So if you don't like that, move on.
Yeah, move on. Yes. Yeah. It's okay. It was Gary V.
Gary V. Yeah. Love some Gary V. I mean, yeah.
Gary. Because he talks about baseball cards. Yeah. And a lot of his followers don't care about baseball cards. I'm one of them. But I'm just not going to watch the one that says baseball cards. You know what I mean?
I do know he's obsessed with EFTs right now. NFTs, and a lot of the world is, and I have no doubt it's going to be a game changer and all that. But I'm like, honestly, that's great. I might miss out on that wave. Or in 4 years, when it's all sorted out, I'll hire the person who will implement it for me. Right. That's sort of my thought process on it. But yeah, so good. Julie, I think we've done an amazing job here, covered all sorts of boxes. Was there anything that you were hoping to cover or speak to or talk about that we might have missed that you want to make sure that you talk to?
What a great question. So this is for anyone out there who struggles with the motivation and staying motivated. And one of the biggest lessons that I learned is if we're always searching for that result or that goal, and we're never giving ourselves credit for what we're doing each day, the little minuscule things, taking a sip of water, for example, to get towards that goal, then we will never be motivated to continue. I always say, without celebration, there is no motivation. So celebrate, be thankful for all the little things throughout your day. And then all of a sudden your motivation will start snowballing until you have all of the inspired action to reach all of your goals and get all of your dreams in life.
Yes. Beautiful. Thank you. So good. I'm going to end on that. I don't want to blow it. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was mic drop. Let's be done.
You can't blow it, Misha. You can't do it wrong.
I can't do it wrong.
This is your show. Anyone still listening obviously loves you.
Yes, indeed. This has been a ton of fun. So again, everybody, go check out Julie's 5-day foodie fit in your jeans challenge. So here, I'm going to read it for you. I love the headline. Learn the top 3 secrets to fitting your jeans without giving up your favorite foods, even if you're totally defeated and feel like you've tried everything. So good. You've got 3 secrets that you will learn during the 5-day challenge. It's free. Ton of good stuff. 5day.org, the number 5, day.org. Click on the links. Imagine eating what you want and fitting in your jeans. I mean, can you imagine, right? Like, we all want that. Yes.
Yes. We all want that. We all want that. That's life.
That's life. If you happen to be in Las Vegas or traveling through Vegas and would like to find one of Rhino Julie's amazing gyms and go experience it and have fun and be a rhino for the day.
Yes.
Then how are they going to find be a rhino for the day, right? Why not? Yes. Next time I'm in the neighborhood, I am going to go be a rhino for a day.
I'm going to invite you to the Ninja Warrior gym. We'll play on obstacles. That's
so fun. How do they find your gym? Tell me that really quick.
camprhino.com. So CAMP. Yep. RHINO.com.
Fantastic. Julie, it's been a ton of fun. I'm going to hit stop and we'll say goodbye offline.
Okay, sounds good. Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in for so long.
Yes, thank you. Love to all.
Rhino Tough.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Table Rush Talk Show. For resources to help you sell your stuff, go to belove.media/resources. That's belove.media/resources. And be sure to subscribe, comment, 5-star, and share. Thank you again for listening.